If you've ever had to move out of one house so that someone else could move in on the exact same day, then you already know that's a completely different kind of move. Everything is happening all at once. The movers are loading, the house still needs to be cleaned, and you're trying to keep track of 100 little details. And unlike a typical move, there's often no overlap between the two homes. So you don't get access to the new place early, and someone may be moving in on the same day or even at the same time that you're moving out. There's very little margin for error. And if that sounds stressful, you're not wrong. The good news is that there are a few things that you can do ahead of time to make a move like that feel calmer, smoother, and more manageable. After helping people prepare for moves over the years, I've noticed that the calmest moving days usually aren't the ones where everything goes perfectly. They're the ones where the preparation was done ahead of time and where there was extra help lined up to absorb the stress of any unexpected bumps in the road. In fact, the reason I'm making this video is because a viewer recently left this comment. Please, could you do a video on the process for people who have to move out of one property and move into the next one all on the same day? That is usually how it happens in the UK, at least when you're selling and buying at the same time. There is no time to clean after moving out. Often there is a chain of buyers and sellers. People are moving into your old home the same day that you move out too. You don't get access to the next property in advance. What stood out to me about this comment is that this isn't an emergency move. This isn't someone who just found out today that they have to move out by tonight. This is someone who knew that the move was coming, but the timeline is so tight that everything is happening in a very small window of time. They're moving out, someone else is moving in, they don't have access to the next property, and there's not much room for error. So that's exactly who this video is for. Let's talk about 7 ways to make a same-day move a little easier. Number 1, declutter before moving day. If you've watched any of my channel, this would come as no surprise that I'm going to encourage you to declutter before the move. One of the biggest things that can make a same-day move much easier is finishing as much of your decluttering as possible before moving day arrives. So with a normal move, you might be able to leave a few undecided items or a few maybe boxes behind while you figure things out. But with a same-day move, there really isn't much breathing room. The more decisions you can make ahead of time, the smoother moving day tends to feel. And this doesn't mean that you have to perfectly declutter your entire house before you move. That's not realistic for most people. But if there are obvious things that you already know you don't want to bring into the next home, like expired pantry items, broken things, old paperwork, clothes that you never wear, random garage clutter, this is the time to let those things go. Because every item that you keep has to be packed and carried and loaded and unloaded and then eventually unpacked. And every box that you don't have to move is one less thing that you'll have to load and carry and unpack and find a home for later. Reducing the volume now can make the entire move feel lighter. So declutter as much as you can on the front end of your move, but don't worry about doing it perfectly. A same-day move already demands a lot from you, so focus on progress, not perfection. Number 2, finish one room before starting the next. One thing that can make a same-day move feel much less chaotic is finishing one room or one area before moving on to the next one. When every room in the house is partially packed at the same time, it becomes mentally exhausting very quickly. I've seen people get to the point where every room is half finished. There are boxes everywhere, drawers half emptied, piles on every surface, and suddenly their brain is trying to keep track of the entire house at once, because that's what your brain will do. It will try to make sense of the whole thing, and that's when overwhelm starts to take over. So instead of thinking of the whole house at once, try to take it room by room or area by area. Finish the guest room and then move on. Finish the bathroom and then move on. Finish the kitchen one section or one cabinet at a time. There's something very calming about being able to look at a completed room and think, okay, this space is done. In fact, when I'm moving, I always make little signs or little sticky notes that say empty. And when I empty out a cabinet, I put that empty sign on the outside of it. I wipe out the cabinet, I put the empty sign on the outside, and then I'm done. And so that helps me in a couple of ways. It helps me to know that cabinet is empty, I don't need to revisit it. And it also gives me that momentum of seeing the progress and seeing, okay, I've already cleaned out all of these cabinets. I am getting somewhere. Also, it prevents forgotten items because you're fully clearing and checking each area or each cabinet before moving on. So as much as possible, try to have the packing done before moving day arrives, because on a same day move, moving day isn't really a packing day. It's a loading day, it's a driving day, it's an unloading day, it's a cleaning day, it's a key handover day. There's already so much happening. And the more boxes that are packed and ready to go, the smoother that moving day tends to be. Number 3, clean before the chaos starts. One of the hardest parts of a same-day move is that you're not just moving your belongings, you're also trying to leave one home clean while you're getting settled into another. And when everything happens on the same day, cleaning can become really stressful. So do as much cleaning as you can before moving day arrives. Wipe out cabinets as you empty them when you're packing. Clean the shelves after you pack them. Vacuum rooms once they're finished. Clear out the refrigerator early. Now, normally I suggest keeping moving and cleaning separate, because with a typical move where you have more time, moving everything out before you start cleaning makes sense. But with a same-day move, you don't have that luxury. So the workaround is to clean as much as possible ahead of time, and then think of moving day in terms of touch-ups instead of a full house deep clean. And if someone offers to help with cleaning, great, let them. You don't get bonus points for trying to do every single thing yourself. Number 4, create a load last box. If you only take one idea away from this video, let it be this one. Create a load last box. This is one of the most important boxes that you will pack for a same-day move. Think of it like your 24-hour survival kit, or the carry-on bag that you would never dream of checking at the airport. Because after a full moving day, the last thing you want is to be standing in an empty house, exhausted, opening 20 different boxes looking for a toothbrush or toilet paper or your phone charger. So grab a large box and write "Load Last" in big letters on every side. This box should be the last thing loaded onto the truck and the first thing unloaded when you arrive. Inside, you're going to put the things that you need immediately when you walk through the door. Now, I made an entire separate video about this, and I will link it below. I'll also put a screenshot here of some things for your load last box, but it would include things like toilet paper, paper towels or hand towels, hand soap, bath towels, clean sheets, paper plates and utensils, plastic garbage bags, basic cleaning supplies, a shower curtain, and importantly, hooks to hang it up with and a rod to hang it on, snacks that don't require cooking, and anything else that you'll need in those first few hours. I also recommend packing a suitcase that stays with you and not on the moving truck. So think of the suitcase the same way that you would think about a carry-on bag for a flight. This is where you'll put your daily medications, your glasses or contacts, your toiletries, your phone and laptop chargers, important documents, a change of clothes, pet supplies, baby or kid essentials. If you're driving, this is the suitcase that stays with you in your car. If you're flying, it goes with you on the plane. If you don't have a car and you're riding in the moving truck, then it can go on the moving truck with you, but it needs to go on last. When you finally arrive at your new home, tired and overwhelmed, you'll know exactly where the essentials are. And that little bit of certainty can make a huge difference on moving day. Number 5, take care of people and pets. One thing people often forget is that a same-day move affects more than just the boxes. It affects people and pets too. So if possible, try to keep everyone's routines as normal as you can. Maybe a friend watches the kids for a few hours, or maybe someone takes the dog for the afternoon. Maybe a family member handles picking up lunch so you're not scrambling to feed everyone while movers are carrying furniture out that front door. A same-day move is not the time to prove how independent you are. So if people are offering to help, let them help. In fact, I'm always saying that with a move, you should ask for twice as much help as you think you're going to need, and that's especially true when you're short on time. If you think you need 2 people to help you clean, ask 4. If you think you need 5 people to help you load the truck, ask 10. Because here's what usually happens. Someone gets sick, someone gets delayed, or has to leave early. Life happens. And worst case scenario, everybody shows up, you have twice as much help as you thought you would need, the work goes twice as fast, and everyone goes home early. That's a pretty good worst case scenario. There's very little downside to asking for extra help, especially when you're working with a tight timeline. I've never met anyone who said, "I wish I had asked for less help during my move." It's a time to lean on your support system and let people help carry some of the load, literally. And while you're taking care of everyone else, remember to take care of yourself too. So drink water, eat something, sit down for 5 minutes if you need to. You're doing something hard, so don't forget to be kind to yourself. If you've gotten any value out of this video so far, it would mean the world to me if you would hit that subscribe button so that I can reach more people and help more people. Thank you so much. Let's keep going. Number 6, don't try to fully unpack on moving day. One of the biggest mindset shifts that helps with a same-day move is realizing that moving is not the finish line, it's the transition. So sometimes people put enormous pressure on themselves to immediately unpack everything, organize everything, and make the new house feel finished. But that expectation can leave you feeling completely drained. So instead, focus on making the house functional first. You're going to need a place to sleep, access to the bathroom, medications, clean clothes, phone chargers, basic food. That's enough for the first night. In fact, I often encourage people to just choose 1 or 2 priority spaces and get those functional first. So usually that's going to be a place to sleep, the bathroom, and maybe one little corner of the kitchen. Because once those areas are working, your nervous system can finally relax. The goal on moving day isn't to finish everything perfectly. The goal is to get everything from house A to house B as smoothly as possible. The house doesn't have to be finished tonight. You're already accomplishing something so huge by getting from one home to the next, so let that be enough for today. Number 7, reduce last-minute decisions. What tends to make same-day moves feel overwhelming isn't usually one giant disaster. It's a lot of tiny little things that pile up all at once. So it's questions like, where did I pack the towels? Or which box has the coffee maker? Or who has the keys? What room does this go in? When you're already physically and mentally tired, even small decisions can start to feel stressful. So reduce as much of that chaos as possible before moving day arrives by labeling your boxes clearly. Again, I have a whole video about that. Keeping your paperwork together, setting important items aside ahead of time, and making a simple moving day plan. So decide in advance who is responsible for what. Most people genuinely want to help you. They just need to know what needs to be done. And a same-day move isn't just about getting enough help, it's about getting the right help to show up at the right time. So the more specific you can be when you ask for help, the better. Instead of saying, can you help me on moving day? Try saying, could you come over from 9 to 11 and wipe down shelves and sweep floors? Or, could you be here at 8:30 to help me empty and clean out the refrigerator? Or, could you pick up lunch for everyone around noon? Specific tasks are easier for people to say yes to, and they eliminate a lot of confusion on moving day. One thing I've found helpful is assigning specific jobs ahead of time and keeping a simple note in your phone with everyone's name next to their task. So this person is cleaning out the refrigerator, this person is picking up lunch, this person is watching the dog, this person is wiping down the bathrooms, this person is helping to load the truck. You don't want to spend moving day trying to remember who volunteered to do what. The more decisions you can make ahead of time, the fewer decisions you'll have to make when you're already tired and overwhelmed. That viewer who left the comment that inspired this video was absolutely right. Same-day moves come with a unique set of challenges because so many things have to happen in such a small window of time. But with some preparation and the right support, they don't have to feel impossible. If you declutter ahead of time, finish rooms one by one, clean as you go, prepare a load last box, ask for help, and reduce unnecessary decisions, the day becomes much more manageable. And remember, the goal on moving day isn't to finish everything perfectly. The goal is getting everything from house A to house B as smoothly as possible. So if parts of the day feel emotional or exhausting or messy or imperfect, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means you're moving. And ask for more help than you think you need. Be gentler with yourself than you think you need to be. And give yourself credit for everything that you've already accomplished. You did something hard, and you're doing the best you possibly can. And if you're looking for more help with packing and preparing for your move, be sure to check out this video right here. I'll meet you there.